The reason for our talk is a new and treacherous variant of COVID-19, which scientists have identified as NB.1.8.1 and nicknamed Nimbus. This name, which evokes a dark cloud, is fitting because it acts silently and can overshadow our well-being if we aren't prepared. See this information not as a reason to panic, but as a call to sharpen our vigilance and redouble our commitment to our health. This is a new chapter in our journey, one that demands from us an even more focused attention and a renewed dedication to the healthy habits we already practice to ensure our quality of life. Stay right here with me, because today we are going to transform that fear into power, that uncertainty into knowledge. Together, we will build a fortress for your health. And so you don't miss a thing. Go ahead and click like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments which city you're tuning in from. I'd love to give you a shout out. What makes the Nimbus variant particularly dangerous is its ability to deceive. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, a threat that doesn't announce itself with the classic signs we've grown accustomed to. While previous variants were easier to identify through obvious respiratory symptoms like a cough and fever, Nimbus adopts a strategy of disguise, attacking our body in a different and unexpected way. This guerrilla tactic makes it a direct and serious threat, especially for the senior population, as it can settle in and cause significant damage before it's even noticed, jeopardizing our pursuit of healthy aging. Just imagine, this new strain is spreading globally, and a red alert has been raised by experts worldwide, with a special focus on protecting seniors. The primary concern is that, due to its unique characteristics, it can go completely unnoticed until it's far too late. The threat isn't just in the virus itself, but in its subtlety. It exploits our tendency to normalize certain discomforts, turning a seemingly harmless symptom into a gateway for serious complications, which puts our cherished independence and overall well-being at risk. This is the heart of the danger of a delayed diagnosis. Nimbus is an enemy in disguise. The greatest power of this strain is its ability to confuse us. As I mentioned, it doesn't arrive with the barking cough or chills that make us run for the thermometer. Instead, its most common attacks are aimed at our gastrointestinal system. The most prevalent symptoms are diarrhea, persistent, nausea, and a general, diffuse abdominal discomfort. These are complaints so common that on any other day, we might attribute them to 100 other, less serious causes. And that is precisely where the danger to our health lies. Think about your own routine. Who among us hasn't eaten something that didn't quite agree with them, or had an off day with an upset stomach? For a senior, whose defense system is naturally more vulnerable, confusing a COVID-19 symptom with a common digestive issue can be a mistake with fatal consequences. This delay in diagnosis, this hesitation to consider the real possibility of it being the virus, grants it precious time to replicate unchecked within the body, silently undermining your health and your entire longevity project. While a person believes they're dealing with a simple case of indigestion, the virus is actively at work, potentially causing severe damage to the lungs and other vital organs. The tragic result of this deception is that the search for medical help often only occurs when the situation has already become critical, requiring emergency hospitalization. At that point, the battle for recovery becomes immensely more difficult, drastically affecting an individual's quality of life and independence. That is why awareness of these atypical symptoms is our first line of defense. Now, let's touch on an extremely sensitive and important point: the false sense of security that vaccines might give us in this new scenario. The protection you diligently built by getting all your vaccine doses and boosters is and remains absolutely fundamental. It is the foundation of your defense. However, what makes the situation with Nimbus even more alarming is that this variant appears to have developed the ability to partially sidestep this protection, as well as the immunity generated by previous infections. This requires an extra layer of attention from all of us. This variant has specific mutations in its structure that help it dribble past the antibodies our body has learned to produce. It's as if our defense system was prepared for a team that plays a certain way, and suddenly, a new player enters the field who can get past the defense with unexpected moves. This means that even people who are vaccinated and have their boosters can still get infected. And in the case of seniors, the risk of the infection evolving into more severe forms of the disease still exists and must be taken very seriously for the maintenance of our well-being. This does not mean in any way that vaccines have lost their value. On the contrary, they continue to be the most effective tool for preventing severe cases and deaths. Think of your vaccine as the concrete foundation of your house. It's indispensable and gives you the main structure. However, to protect yourself from a sneaky storm, you also need strong walls, a good roof, and well-sealed windows. These are your daily healthy habits: the mask, hygiene, ventilation, and attention to symptoms. The most robust protection comes from the combination of all these elements. If you're finding this conversation enlightening and important for protecting your health and the health of those you love, how about taking a quick pause and clicking the like button? This simple gesture helps YouTube show this video to more people who need to hear this message, strengthening our community in the pursuit of healthy aging. Your interaction truly makes a big difference. So, the lingering question is, why are seniors considered the main target of this new and aggressive variant? The answer lies in a combination of biological and circumstantial factors that add up, creating a scenario of greater vulnerability. The first point, and perhaps the most important, is a natural process called immunosenescence. Don't be alarmed by the name. It simply describes the natural aging of our immune system, something that happens to all of us and impacts our longevity journey. Over the years, our defense system, this incredible army that protects us, becomes a bit slower and less efficient at fighting off completely new invaders, like the Nimbus variant. Think of it as a wise, experienced general who knows many battle tactics, but might take a little longer to recognize and mount a strategy against an enemy with brand new weapons and tactics. This natural difficulty in mounting a swift and powerful response is what makes seniors more susceptible to developing severe forms of the disease and to the struggle of maintaining their health. Another crucial factor is comorbidities, a word that has become common in our vocabulary. Conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease, which are more prevalent in seniors, drastically worsen the picture of a COVID-19 case. A Nimbus infection that starts silently in the gut can act as the trigger that destabilizes all other health conditions that were previously under control. It's like a domino effect. The virus knocks over the first piece, and the other conditions, unfortunately, can follow in succession, making the clinical situation much more complex and dangerous. To protect your health comprehensively, you need more than just being aware of the dangers. You need to actively build a fortress of well-being. And that's precisely why I created the ebook, Wellness and Aging: Valuable Tips for Seniors. It is a complete guide focused on strengthening your defenses through practical tips on nutrition, exercises for the body and the active mind, and strategies to maintain your independence and quality of life. It's the perfect companion to this conversation. The link to get it is pinned in the first comment right below. Invest in yourself. The situation is further complicated by the atypical symptoms that Nimbus can present in seniors. Often, besides the gastrointestinal problems, the only warning signs might be neurological or related to one's general state. Sudden mental confusion, an episode of delirium, or extreme unexplained weakness could be the only manifestations of the infection. Without the presence of a characteristic cough or fever, it's very easy for family and caregivers not to suspect COVID-19 in time, which delays the start of treatment and the chance for a smoother recovery. Therefore, given this entire scenario, what are the urgent and non-negotiable recommendations for the senior population and their families? The first and most important is, do not underestimate any sign. At the very first indication of diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, or any unexplained malaise, even if there's no fever or cough, seek medical help immediately. Treat any of these symptoms as a suspected case of COVID-19 until a healthcare professional says otherwise. Speed of action is your greatest ally in preserving your health. This change in mindset is crucial. We need to abandon the tendency to wait and see if it gets better. Instead, we must adopt a proactive stance of act to ensure it gets better. Calling your doctor or going to a health service at the first sign is not an overreaction. It's prudence. It is an act of self-love and responsibility for your own longevity. A quick diagnosis is the most powerful tool we have to initiate the right treatment and prevent the infection from evolving into a severe state, ensuring you remain in control of your independence. The second recommendation is a call to reinforce our precautions. I know, we were all relieved and enjoying a period of greater relaxation. However, the time for complacency is over. It is time, with wisdom and without panic, to go back to considering the use of high-quality masks, like an N95 or PFF2, in enclosed spaces, on public transport, and in any crowded situation. This simple, healthy habit can be the barrier that prevents the virus from reaching you and compromising your well-being. Think of the mask not as a step backward, but as an intelligent tool in your healthy aging toolkit. It is a personal shield you choose to use in higher-risk situations to protect your quality of life. And of course, let's intensify our hand hygiene. Washing hands frequently with soap and water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer remains one of the simplest and most effective defenses. Every gesture counts in building a routine that promotes happiness and long-term health. The third recommendation is something that costs nothing and has a huge impact. Ventilation is vital. Remember how we all became experts in air currents? That knowledge needs to be revived and practiced daily. The primary mode of transmission continues to be through the air, via particles that remain suspended in the environment. Therefore, keeping spaces constantly well ventilated is a passive but extremely effective strategy to protect your health. Open the windows, let the air circulate, and renew the environment where you live, whether at home, in the car, or when visiting friends and family. Make ventilation a priority. If the weather permits, prefer outdoor gatherings. If that's not possible, choose the largest room and open windows on opposite sides to create a cross breeze. This simple habit dilutes the concentration of any viral particles in the air, drastically reducing the risk of transmission. It's a way of creating a sanctuary of safety for you and the people you love, fostering an environment conducive to happiness and safe social interaction. The fourth, and perhaps most powerful recommendation is, test at the slightest symptom. Please do not hesitate for a single second. The availability of COVID-19 tests, whether they are rapid tests or lab tests, is an immense advantage we have today. A quick diagnosis is the master key that opens the door to effective and early treatment. It is the tool that allows us to break the chain of transmission, protect our loved ones, and, most importantly, start medical care before the virus has a chance to wreak major havoc on your body. Don't let doubt or the thought, "it's probably nothing," stop you from getting a test. If you wake up with that funny feeling in your stomach, with nausea or unusual weakness, getting a test is the most responsible and empowering action you can take. It's not about fear, it's about clarity. Having the correct information in hand allows you and your doctor to make the best decisions for your health, ensuring you stay on the path of longevity and independence. It's about taking the reins of the situation. If you've made it this far, it's because you care deeply about your health and your quality of life. That is wonderful. And since we're on this journey together, how about giving me a little more feedback and leaving a comment telling me which of these recommendations you think is most important to reinforce in your daily life? I love reading your opinions. The greatest enemy we face at this very moment is not a variant with a scary name. Our greatest enemy, my friend, is complacency. It's that comfortable little voice that whispers, "The pandemic is over," or "That won't happen to me." The Nimbus variant serves as a stark and necessary reminder that the pandemic has not ended. It has merely changed its form. The virus continues its evolutionary journey, creating new ways to challenge us, and we must evolve along with it, with more wisdom and care. The life of a father, a mother, a grandparent, your life, could directly depend on our vigilance and our speed in taking action. The danger has changed its face. It no longer wears the obvious mask of fever and cough. Now, it attacks silently, unexpectedly, disguised as a digestive problem. But the great advantage is that now you know this. You have the knowledge to see through the disguise and the ability to act to protect your well-being and your precious independence. This new scenario reinforces the importance of all our efforts towards healthy aging. Every nutritional choice that strengthens your body, every exercise session that improves your immune system, every activity that keeps your mind active, all of it contributes to a more robust defense. Your pursuit of a healthy life is not in vain. It is your strongest armor against this and any other threat to your health that may arise in the future. Therefore, let's make a pact, right here and now. A pact of attention, of care, and of action. Let's commit to listening to our bodies more carefully, to not ignoring the signals they give us, and to seeking help without hesitation. Share this video, this information, with all the seniors you love. Let's build a network of protection and knowledge, where we all look out for each other. Remember, we are not passive victims. We are active agents of our own longevity and happiness. As we conclude our conversation today, I want you to feel stronger, more prepared, and above all, in control. Fear dissipates with knowledge, and uncertainty is defeated by action. We have looked this new challenge in the eye. We understand its tactics, and now we have a clear plan to protect our health. This knowledge is your shield. Your readiness to act is your sword. You are more than equipped to continue living your life with fullness, joy, and the quality of life you deserve. Now, I want to leave you with a question for reflection. What is one small, healthy habit that you commit to adopting or reinforcing, starting today, to honor your journey of longevity? Share your commitment in the comments below. Reading your answers inspires me immensely. And please don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss our next meeting. Now, take a look at the video that's appearing on your screen, as it has more valuable tips for you.